this is a really quite nice match between JSS and Deities of Death, and as you can see the lineups, that's basically the top of the top. For JSS we have Chef, Temista and Count, and for Deities of Death we have Shelty, Fox and iMagic. So that's going to be quite interesting matchup between those two, as this was 2 seasons ago, almost exactly a year ago. They were playing in the grand finals of season 24, and then there Deities of Death lost in the 5th decider 3-2, and UK4Jesus claimed the title and the gold banner, prestigious gold banner of the RTS League for the best clan in the community, and this is a revenge time, and Deities of Death will definitely try to, well, make their opponents pay this time. First map is going to be on Valley of Kings, which is quite interesting, map that you don't really see played all that often, especially on the competitive scene. And looking, oh, this is going to be different. Let's have a look at this yet again. We have Triple Ra by Deities of Death, so that's very different to what we have seen last week. And then against them, JSS are going with Zeus, Loki, and Thor. So that's basically an aggressive lineup that they have probably seen last week by TSMs or Absoluts, but well, Deities of Death, they are definitely going for something a whole lot different. So definitely we should be seeing, or rather watching their bases a whole lot more than their opponents. So the first to have a look at is Fox, and as you can see, this is basically a map similar to Megalopolis, where you have the town centers of the teammates are very close to each other. You have also big goals, you don't have the 3000 but 6000 already, because obviously the other gold is hidden in the middle, basically like on Anatolia, but with the difference that on this map, it is actually guarded by bandit migdals, which are preventing easy capturing of the golds in there, so you definitely have to have some special strategy if you want to win, sorry. Otherwise, you can see that the red is already moving in to the left for the chickens. Does he have hunting dogs? No, he doesn't, so he isn't counting with extra hunting here, as he has basically prepared for the map, as obviously we would be expecting that with Triple Ra, and he is scouting also at the back, trying to see what is going to happen in here, and potentially hoping to find some extra hunt. He is finding at least a goat, and a second one as well, so that's about it for him. But he has also discovered the back TC, so yeah, that's also a feature of this map. You have safe back TC, basically like on Savannah. And we also see some first relics, and they are on the opposite side on JSS. Oh, better villager food carrying capacity, that's not half bad. It's actually going to be pretty useful for anybody, as it basically lowers the amount of walking time for the villies, and better villager gold get rate. Oh well, aren't they lucky that this is actually on their side of the map and not on the Aegis side of the map? That could have been quite a good one for the Triple Ras in here, but I'm kind of expecting that this game might be a bit shorter than we might have thought, because the Triple Ras are definitely signal for something very, very special coming our way. And you can actually see that Magic has gone for the hunting dogs, whereas we have seen that Red actually didn't. Did he actually go for them a bit later? Yeah, he did. He didn't go for them faster because he was going for the chickens first, but right now when he's going for the rhino, it seems like that it's worth it for him, and it really should be, because the 500 food is quite a lot for them. You can already see that Shelty is right now switching somewhere else, because he has finished with the initial rhino, going for a temple already. And since this is 2.5 minutes, it's going to be very, very interesting to see how fast advances are going to be a nail in the coffin potentially for their opponents, as they are not advancing yet. You can see that Chef is right now switched from the left side from the granary to the temple in here, and he's also in the forefront because he basically has recognized that he needs to gather food from this food source as soon as possible. And oh my, isn't this bountiful? That's quite a lot of zebras for him, and of course also hyenas. And even though hyenas don't have all that much food, it's of course going to be making quite a lot of difference if your opponents cannot find anything like that. But they have the same. Also some Elise in the middle, so potentially not really all that bad for them. And this is the first bandit migdol, which is the special feature of this map overall. So yep, this is gold protected by this migdol. And there are also some hippos next to the pond in here. So yep, also some quality food source, but I wouldn't be expecting either of the players of the Ras on DoD's team be really going for that all that soon. So this is going to be 430 advance for double of the Ras. the third Ra in the pocket, Shelty, is going to be a bit later than his opponents, or rather than his ally, whereas his opponents are not really advancing yet. You can see a bit aggressive placement of the temple by Loki, by Temista, and he's definitely thinking that he might be going for a bit of an offensive, but I'm not exactly sure if that's going to be the case. But let's not call it a day yet, because we are absolutely not sure what deities of death are going to be doing. So going for Forseti, that's going to be quite later advanced than his opponents, whereas we already see a Hermes from Chef, which is understandable on this map, another Forseti by the teammate on the right side, who is a bit more defensive in here, and it seems like that he's much more interested in actually keeping the TC for himself, without any kind of shifting and shenanigans on it, which could be some kind of idea by their opponents. But well, let's head on back in here. Let's have a look on the economy. That's probably not going to be all that many grades in there, because they are advancing quite fast, and let's see what's going to happen in here. A lot of it is going to the back, potentially for the back TC, I would be guessing. Right now discovered by Chef. And well, he is probably going to be aiming around here, so he's not going to be coming back. So that's a bit of a lucky break for Fox, because he could have been discovered a bit earlier, but he isn't. And that's yet another TC for Magic, and this is really curious, because they are not going for any kind of offensive. They are going for some kind of full-on boom at the very back. So yeah, that's that, and they are also quite nicely walling in here. This is very nice tree line for them. Obviously for the wall in. That's going to be a wall about here, I would be expecting, but maybe not, because he seems to be building houses in here, basically trying to funnel any kind of offensive force through here next to the TC, which is exactly what he wants, as it will be quite an extra damage into them. And we see the first town center being finished for Magic as well, and they will be having quite strong economy with those early advances and whatnot. But basically the same can be said about their opponents, as JSS are recognizing that some shenanigans are going to be happening with the economy in here, with the front TC being captured by Chef, whereas the back one for count for count, and that's basically the reason why he went there with the temple, because he wanted to be close by when he advances into the next age with all those Berserkers and whatnot. So he's probably hoping that he can find some extra TC about here. What's this relic? Ah, that's the food villager capacity. Whereas the Mista is going for full-on offensive, or full-on offensive, I wouldn't really call it full-on, but with one long house and one temple, that's pretty much it for Loki, and should be reasonably fine for him. That's better. Oh, that's actually a pretty nice one. He should be capturing this. For the better throwing Axeman, that's pretty useful for Norse. And yep, Budget finding that he's at the wrong side of the town, and oh, that was a close encounter. Oh, and you are toast. You are so toast. 3.8 speed against 4.62. Okay, so goodbye. And right now I would be guessing that the best course of action will be actually for him to lure him to some bandit migdol, but he seems to be actually heading for the wall, which is going to work for him quite well as well. Quite well as well, of course. And yeah, you can see on the left, this is exactly what we're expecting to happen in Fox's base. And that's all the units basically being funneled to the town center, and that's exactly what Shelty wants, because obviously, yep, that's what Shelty and Fox want, because he cannot really go there, because he would be losing all that many resource or other hit points that it wouldn't really work for him all that well. So, first Axeman coming out of the barracks with first train by Magic, and this is going to be quite beastly boom. You can already see so many farms by all those players in here. Only one a bit behind is Fox. He's not really having the same numbers as his opponent, but since he is gathering from the elephant, it's kind of understandable, and something that, yeah, cannot really be said that would be some kind of mistake by him, because obviously that was well worth the effort. It seems like that JSS are right now free basically to rule the world and try to own the map, and I kind of think that they should be trying to discover as much as they can, potentially even basically deny this TC to their opponents and basically contain them to just 2, as that could be making quite a lot of difference in the game to come. Because right now, we are not going to be seeing any kind of interesting encounters as much. The Mista right now lagging, it seems, and it's unfortunate, but it seems like to be basically the case with him quite often in team games, not exactly sure. But yeah, exactly. Usually it's a spike, it goes away in a few seconds. But it's not like it's not really fun to play in for, especially the top expert players. I would be hoping so. And he seems to be coming back right now, basically seeing that he cannot raid anything. This is a very sweet choke point with this TC. And I would be guessing that he would be just going for the TC right off, as this one is basically covered, whereas the one at the bottom is free for the taking, and if he is able to capture it, he will be having quite nice beachhead on their opponents. On the right side, I'm kinda worried why Magic isn't exactly walling, because Chef seems to be aiming exactly to abuse that, as you will be just having freeway into the opponent's bases. But we see already armory from him coming up, so this should be basically faster heroics from all three guys at once, as we should be seeing another rain right after the first one. You can also see the upgrade by Magic into shaft mining. That's pretty strong echo, yet another rain, of course, by Shelty. And this is going to be a bit of a radiant by Chef, reasonably soon. And I'm really confused why he's going around the relic and not even capturing it. That's yet another pretty great one. 5% building crush armor is pretty powerful. And really, that's a relic that you want to pick up no matter what. And this is exactly what I was talking about a bit earlier on the right side, where if Count von Count can deny the extra TCs to his opponents and basically own the map control, he will be in a pretty good spot to even counter the strong boom by their opponents. But still, it's going to be quite tough, as they are probably hoping that they can allure, or rather, rule the battles with their mercenaries. Another relic in here, cheaper secrets of the Titans. It's also not bad actually, because I would be expecting with how the game is going right now that would be useful quite a lot. Interesting upgrades in here, of course, all that you would expect, just not the wood upgrade. Or Shelty. It's actually missing anything for the gold, that's interesting. And looking at the last one, Fox, he's having at least pickaxe, but yeah, it seems like that Magic is really playing this the best. It's playing it best and seems to be in a pretty good position. Right now though, Chef is aiming for a full-on offensive, or rather full-on raiding with the Hippicons. He has already upgraded into mediums, but I'm not exactly convinced this is going to be working for him all that much. I would be thinking that it might be the best course of action to just go for the front ECs by their opponents and boom exactly like them. Because the diversity in their god choices, especially the Zeus, should be making quite a decent difference in the late game, but well, so far not happening, so the first heroic ages are coming in from Shelty, but this Brage from Count von Count is not far behind. Mista is at 2 TCs, but I would much more like for him to actually take the front one, but he seems to think that he probably wouldn't be able to defend it. Not exactly sure why though. Not exactly sure why though, but let's not question one of the best players in here, and he definitely needs to have some plan for the game to come. So this is the first coming out of shell for Magic, and basically a deities of death overall. The first Migdals from both Shelty and Magic, and it almost seems like that actually Magic and Shelty will be coming to the right side, basically playing together, whereas Fox will be left to the left and somehow counter Temista himself. Not exactly sure if that's going to work out all that well for them. You can already see that they're working on securing the trade, which is going to be very easy due to a very nice positioning of the tree line in here. And well, he seems to be already aiming for this gold, and this map is really very nice for them and very nicely spawned for the boomy style of play by the triple Ra of Deities of Death. Heroic age for Temista as well. How's it looking for Chef, who should be advancing sooner rather than later? Because even though he's a very nice army, it's completely useless. Let's say it's not doing anything at all, and it's not going to be doing anything at all, because he's right now going to be facing double Migros with pretty decent army of spearmen, with chariot archers, some budgets and whatnot, and that's not anything that he can actually raid with successfully, but he's attempting to do so anyway. And he's probably aiming for the gold. Banking to the right. Oh, and so far he's not finding anything. He's just finding a lot of damage into his Hippicons. And that's exactly why I was saying that it's absolutely useless. He has lost already, like at least quarter or third of the army that he had. And he's going to lose absolutely everything right about now. Probably going to kill like 3-4 villages maybe. But that's not worth it because he's losing pop army of Hippicons. And well, that's a ton more resources than the villagers right there. So right now, that didn't do anything for JSS. So that's a pretty huge advantage right now gained for the Teeth of Death through their style of play. And well, this is also a pretty big problem because right now Count von Count will be alone against his opponent, and even though he's having 3 TCs, he's definitely not going to be up to the challenge of double boom Tra. And yeah, this is going to be goodbye TC as Chef won't be able to help all that much. He's just now recuperating from the losses and not exactly convinced that the TC on the right is going to be staying. On the left though, Fox is not doing as well as he's facing Temista, and Temista was much better prepared for this because he didn't sacrifice his army, and he's having pretty much the correct one with the boars, basically tanking all the damage from the chariot archers and those extra Hercers. A refreshing beverage bone is going to be quite enough to stop this Migdal from coming up, and also potentially even to capture the TC right off. So right now this should be basically the task of Temista. Count von Count going for a very fast mythic. That's sub 30 minutes mythic, so that's pretty powerful for him. And is maybe Temista doing the same? Well, of course he isn't because he's Loki. But oh, this is very early Ragnarok actually. Let's check how many did he have. Economy Count von Count 76. That's a pretty good one. That's actually a very good one. But I would be expecting that he doesn't have any upgrades. He has at least the baseline, and that's actually not half bad, considering that we are 30 minutes and this is very fast mythical age by him. This is actually pretty good Ragnarok. But it's kind of a shame that actually Chef doesn't have enough support for him. But he seems to be recuperating quite well with already Hippicons on the right side. And this could be pretty important for them, because if they can delete those Migdals and also deny this goal, this will be super important for them. Count von Count going for the flaming weapons, and we have some extra. I will be just using right now Shifting Sands by the Keys of Death, basically just to disrupt their opponents and somehow deposit the army somewhere else, and this is a very important battle right now. And if this is going well for JSS, they could be just surprising their opponents in a situation that they did not expect at all. And it seems like that this fast Ragnarok is really doing the damage that it should be doing, and this is very well played by JSS. But let's see if they can actually finish with it. They will be taking down probably this Migdal, but I'm not exactly convinced if they're going to take down all 4. But if they did, that would be a pretty huge victory for them. Let's see if they can, but they are at the same time killing quite a lot of villies on the right and basically denying any gold economy to Iron Magic, which will be quite threatening for him. Quite threatening for him overall. Let's see if there are some extra upgrades coming in. Not really. He probably just spent all the resources into him, but he is right now killing 2 Migdals, and this is very powerful. He's going to be killing the 3rd and 4th as well, and this is so well played. And you can see that Temista is also switching from the left side, because Fox wasn't doing anything all that much, but at the same time it allows Fox to take the 30C, and if the push on the right side is not decisive enough, the first Shifting Sands used by Fox, well, it's going to be quite up. And here we see the fortified Citadel. That's 4,500 hit points to deal with. So let's see. And he's actually magic. He's having 45 TCs, so that's a pretty powerful one for him. He needs to move forward with the Radiant. And we should be having enough bolts, at least one bolt, into the Son of Osiris in here. I'm not exactly sure where he is. Or is he already dead? No, I haven't seen the message actually. So he should be still hidden in here. Yeah, he is. We are having one bolt at least, but that's half health for him, so that's better than nothing. But at the same time, you can see that actually the Ragnarok by Count von Count is basically dead, and they are not going to be able to take down the TC by Temista. And I'm not exactly sure if they should have been pushing in here. They maybe should have pushed to the right side a bit more. You can already see that the trade is making a difference, as even though Magic is not getting any kind of gold, he still has enough for this. Well, it seems like that it's basically saving his skin, but all those 4 dead Migdals are pretty important for them, but they also need to worry about the TC on the left by Fox, and I'm really worried that the switch from Temista to the right side wasn't really clever choice, and he will be paying for it very soon, because having Ra with TC next to your doorstep, that means a lot of mercenaries and pretty tough time going for you. You can see already Mythical Age for Fox. Quite a lot of it is going to the left, but not much else. Not much that actually the opponents can do about this. But oh, ho ho ho, this Kataskopos, oh well, he hasn't been noticed yet. And this is basically bait for Underworld Passage, of course. And this is going to be absolutely wrecking absolutely reckon if Chef can advance into the Mythical Age, he's already going into Hephaestus. And here we see a pretty decent Radiant, and you don't actually see Radiant with Son of Osiris all that often, so that's something to actually have a look at. And this is very powerful and very important for them, because it is also going through the trade route. How is this a trade route for them? Well, you definitely need to build this somewhere else. This isn't going to work all that much, and they should be building the markets about here, because the farthest TC is here. And this is much closer, and well, they definitely need to be careful about what they are going to do next. So the Mista is right now pushing for the TC, also with this Nidhogg, and since the red player is not having Son of Osiris nearby, oh, he actually is. Yeah, that's the bolt for half the hit points, but the Nidhogg needs to go somewhere else. He cannot really stay here, and he should be also careful about those fire giants. Oh, well, that almost... Oh my. Yeah. I was just thinking that actually they could have bolted this rock, but I think actually that's not possible anymore. But in the vanilla game it would have been, but right now it's not. It's not, as we are playing on the balance patch, as the transports are not going to be targetable, as it's kinda not intended for that purpose. And since even the creators themselves basically denied bolting of transport ships, why would you allow transporting, or rather bolting transports of other means? So, Mythical Age by Chef. You can see that the Mista is also housed, but he still have another TC, so he can go for it quite nicely. But he's probably hoping that he can kill the one from Fox and go for it himself. Which I would do if I were him, because that's exactly what he needs to do right about now. As you can see that already, Fox is recognizing that he is not going to be able to hold this, and he's going for full-on defensive on this side, on this left side. On the right, we see a lot of development of barracks by Chef. And also archery ranges, so that's going to be a pretty strong push by both Count von Count and his ally Chef. Build the baseline, because Count von Count is still not developed further, but it almost seems like the deities of death on the right side, sheltered with magic, are not having enough push through in here. But even though they are attempting to do so, they are going to be quite late, and once the shenanigans of the Zeus and the Colossi, and of course the Myrmidons are coming in, well, good luck dealing with that. Good luck dealing with that. But at the same time, it has to be said that for quite some time Chef will be alone in here, because Count von Count was basically without economy for most of the game. The past minutes, because of the Ragnarok. Like 6 minutes he was without any kind of economy, and that's going to be known. And well, let's see if Chef with 2 TCs can somehow live long enough to make a difference in here. Yet another free TC on the right, that's also important to notice. Yeah, that's nicely played, nice micro by magic. Basically luring, sacrificing those priests, so that he can kill with the chariot archers all the extra army. So that's pretty nicely played by him, and he seems to be aiming to the right, and I'm not exactly sure for what. For a market, different one from the left, because you can see, well, this is very nicely played by Temista, who is at 4 TCs, has captured the front one, and he is really making life very difficult for his opponent, Fox. And you can see also a bit of a barbecue in here for the Nidhogg, and he is doing his job quite nicely, basically denying the last gold that deities of death have at their disposal, because the next one is on the right side, and that's definitely not safe. And they need to do something either on the right side or on the left, and it seems like that much more will be happening on the right. On the left though, this is quite problematic for JSS, or rather for deities of death, as Temista is doing quite a good job of walling all this trade in. That's so well played. So well played by him. And otherwise he's pushing through the left side, not really wanting to go through all those towers, and that's kind of understandable, and well played by him. Yeah, those villagers should be moving somewhere else reasonably soon, because they are not going to be surviving for much longer under no protection of the Migdol. On the right though, the Magic has been able to basically steal himself a TC, as that should have been much better covered by his opponent. Chef going for the one at the back finally, and it seems like that actually Chef is able to hold on long enough for Count to build at least some fire giants with some ballistae, and it's probably going to be the only unit that Count will be supplying to the battlefield, and it seems to be pretty much enough, because heavy toxots, well, if you're fighting only against chariots, you might just as well build Beltasts, as they are having bigger bonus obviously. But if he actually pitches in with a few Myrmidons, he will be in a pretty good spot to go for it. So bronze, copper, that's pretty decent, whereas we see for Count already on bronze. That's a pretty nice upgrade for him. Whereas Yellow Shelty is having nothing. Magic is having Heavy Chariot at least, but that's about it. And that's yet another big goal, pretty much down. And it really seems like that this is going to be going quite well for JSS, as they are having a stranglehold on the right side, and on the left, Demista is doing a pretty good job basically killing the trade, which is the most important thing that he can be doing right now. Without the trade, deities of death are almost killed, because they don't have any save gold whatsoever. They are just trying to pick as much gold as they can on the left, but that's going to be stopped reasonably soon due to the ballistae by Magic, by Temista. Whereas on the right side, there is a bit of a trade budding from Fox and I Magic, but as soon as it is discovered by Count von Count, which is going to be pretty soon, very nice hill fort by him, going to be finished in here with the Volin as well. That's going to be pretty much it, as all those caravans will be coming through the battlefield, and with the towers and hill forts and the whole army by their opponents, yep, even the Osiris is not going to be finished in here, and Magic is right now down to 2 TCs, and they are still having fortified. Oh, actually they aren't. They have already used both of them. And yeah, the Deities of Death are right now recognizing that without the TC they are not going to be able to hold their economy. And even though they did have quite nice special strategy prepared, Count von Count with his very fast Ragnarok with pretty nice upgrades and 76 villages was I think the strategy that decided the game altogether. It was very well played, and it really stopped the attempts of Deities of Death in their tracks. Well played, and of course the Mista on the left. Very nice control of Fox. Very nice control. So GG, and let's have a look at the post game. With Chef having pretty good economy, of course, as a Zeus. Yeah, but that's because they were fighting against Ragnarok. Well, GG.